is Rachel, and today I'm bringing you my April TBR. So basically, this is just going to be my O.W.L.s Readathon TBR because it's taking place the entire month of April. There is going to be a few days overlap with my own readathon, the True Crime Readathon, and I will leave both announcement videos linked down below in case you want to join. But essentially, the O.W.L.s Readathon is a chance for you to pick a magical career and attend Hogwarts virtually while we're all staying at home, particularly in this current climate. But I've done all this, and I'm really excited. Last year, I decided to be a librarian, and I think the O.W.L.s I did pretty good on, but the newts, it did not go well. So we're just doing a fresh start this year. I decided to be a trader of magical tomes, which, oh my gosh, I would love to do this in the wizarding world. Yes, yes, and yes. So for my career, I have 4 O.W.L.s that I have to sit. The first one is Ancient Runes, so I have to read a book with a heart on the cover or in the title. So I'm going with Every Heart a Doorway by Seanan McGuire. I don't know much about this besides the fact that it's like a portal fantasy. I've heard that this could be YA, but I thought it was maybe going to be more adult, so maybe it's like a crossover. Don't know, but I've heard really good things about this, and I'm wondering if maybe this is something I could recommend to my students, so I'm going to give it a read. Plus, it's super short, perfect for a readathon. Next is Charms, and I need to read a book with white on the cover. So in honor of the True Crime-a-thon coming up soon, I picked a true crime book, and this is Lady Killers by Tori Telfler. And this is all about deadly women throughout history. It's going to be April when I read all these, but for some reason I was thinking like women's history as I was doing my TBR. So I thought, what better way to celebrate Women's History Month in March than to read a true crime book about women in April. So this is my pick for my Charms class. Next up is History of Magic, and for that we had to read a book about witches and wizards. So I decided to read Serpent and Dove by Shelby Maharan. I've heard this is fantastic, and all I really know about it is it's like a love to hate relationship between a witch and a witch hunter who I believe have to get married for some reason. So I don't know. It fits this prompt. I'm excited for it. I got to listen to her book talk this when she was in Cincinnati several months ago, and that just got me even more excited to read it, so I think now is the perfect time. And then the last book that I need to read to pass my O.W.L.s for Trader of Magical Tomes is The Class of Transfiguration, which is Shapeshifting, which is not my forte. My gut instinct was to reread Shiver, which I still may do, if I'm being honest, but I saw several people recommend A Court of Thorns and Roses, which I think I'm the only person in the world who hasn't read this yet. I just have some sort of affliction with this book. I've put it on so many TBRs and I keep not picking it up, and the longer it goes, the less I want to read it. So I don't know. I'm either going to read this or I'm going to revert back to Shiver by Maggie Stiefvater because that's like my guilty pleasure series. It's terrible, but in the best way. So either that or I'm going to revert back to Shiver. Let me know your thoughts down below. So these are the 4 books that I need to read to pass my O.W.L. exams this year for my career. But I also decided to participate in a seminar. I thought this was absolutely perfect for me. It is Magical Shop Management. Of course, I need to take this if I'm going to run a magical bookshop. So for this one, it's arithmancy, and we need to pick basically the opposite of our favorite genre. And I was thinking what that would be because I tend to read a lot of everything since I do a lot of recommendations. And I decided basically a biography would probably be my least go-to genre. So I just happen to have one of those. It is The Rise and Fall of Charles Lindbergh. This is by Candace Fleming. And honestly, she's the only reason I would pick this book up. I would not be interested in this otherwise, but she wrote The Family Romanov, which we read for book club at least a year ago, and it was fantastic. So I kind of trust her. I'm going to go out on a limb here and read this one for my arithmancy exam so that I can get a credit for my seminar. And then because I'm such an uber nerd and I would totally do this Hermione style if I actually was at Hogwarts, I'm going to join some extra classes that I don't even need if I have time. So first up is astronomy. I need to read a book mostly during dark hours. And this is a book that I actually needed to get to. It's going to be our group pick for book club next month. So I have to read it anyway, and it's very gothic, so it's going to be perfect for the evening. And that is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I've read about half of this book, and then I ended up seeing the movie, and that always ruins the book for me. I just never want to read the book after I've watched the movie. Do you ever have that? But anyway, I'd really like to give it a read. It's been a while since I read about half of it and then watched the movie, so I think I'm ready for it. And like I said, it's our group pick for my peer book club this month, so yes. And then for Defense Against the Dark Arts, we were supposed to pick a book that was set on the coast or at sea, and I believe this will work. It is Death in the Family by Tessa Weigert. This is like a closed room murder mystery, except it takes place on an island, which is the best kind. And I've heard this kind of comped as like an Agatha Christie Knives Out sort of situation. So we'll see. But yeah, murder mystery set on an island. I think this will work for Defense Against the Dark Arts just fine. Next up, we have Divination. And for that, we had to do a random number generator for our TBR and pick out a book. I probably should have waited until now when I was filming it to do it, but I couldn't. As soon as I read all the prompts, I did it. And yeah, so you're just gonna have to trust me that I'm not lying, I guess. But essentially, I have a huge number of books behind me that I have not read. So I put that total number into a random number generator. I got number 454. That gives you a little hint of how many books that I haven't read, which is a ton. But maybe all the staying at home for the next couple months will help me put a dent in that. But nevertheless, number 454 on my bookshelf is There by Tommy Orange. This comes highly recommended by a lot of people that I've heard from. I was actually personally recommended this book by somebody at work, so I want to dive in. I don't know much about the plot of this book other than the fact that I believe it is Own Voices, Native American, and that's about all I know. So we're going to get to this one for Divination. For Muggle studies, we need to read a contemporary, and I'm 99% sure this is the book that I'm going to try to go for, unless I don't get to a book I'm planning to get to before April starts, in which case this one will get bumped. But for now, I'm planning to read Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. This comes highly recommended by pretty much everybody on the planet right now. This is a hate-to-love story about the first son and the Prince of England, and, you know, all the hate-to-love stuff that goes along with it. So this will be my Muggle Studies exam. And then last but not least, I'm thinking I might join the Potions class, and for that, a book less than 150 pages, and I'm going to read Teen Trailblazers, 30 Fearless Girls Who Changed the World Before They Were 20. This is by Jennifer Calvert, illustrated by Vesna Asanovic, and it is less than 150 pages, and it might be something great that I can recommend at school, so ta-da! There you have all of my like extra credit courses essentially as well. And that's mostly what I'm going to be reading in April. As I mentioned, the True Crime-a-thon is going to be happening, so I might squeak in a True Crime-a-thon book towards the end of the month, but that'll have its separate TBR. And I haven't yet mentioned the book I'm reading for my student book club, and that is mostly because I have no idea if we're even going to get to meet again the rest of this year. But we were slated to read Aurora Rising by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I've already read this book, but I am ready to reread it. I am so excited for the second book to come out in May. So we'll see. This could get pushed back though into May, a little bit closer to the release of the second one, or maybe like at the tail end of April. I'm not sure, but this is our student book club pick. If you haven't read it yet, you really, really should. And I may end up reading it. I don't know. We'll see. It's going to get read like soon. It's going to get read before the sequel comes out, but I don't know when, and it doesn't really fit into the prompt, so kind of a rando on the TBR. But there you have it. All of the books that I'm coming into here pretty soon. So let me know about any of these that I've mentioned. If you have any thoughts, concerns, ideas, suggestions, questions, let me know down below. Also, if you're participating in the O.W.L.s, definitely let me know down below some of your picks. And even if not, tell me what you're reading this month. Let's talk about some books down in the comments, everybody. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you again in another video soon. Bye for now.